Hey, this is Seth with In Demand Career. I show people how to get life-changing jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And that includes my very special guest today, Grace, who was working at a grocery store making about $13 an hour when she found my course. She hustled very hard and got an SEO writer position making $18 an hour, then leveraged that up to making $47,000 a year, which is almost twice what she was making at the grocery store. And she's only 6 months into her career. She's already a content director. She works fully remote. She's very happy with her position, and I'm very excited to share her story with you. Thanks for being here, Grace.
Yes, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So why don't you tell people about your current job that you have right now?
Sure. So for my current job as a content director, I help develop the SOPs or I help improve upon them. I help ensure that our content meets up to the quality standards for the company, and I also make sure that that the department, keeps on time and also ensures that everything stays like clockwork and meets the demands that my boss wants.
That's awesome. So SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so that's like what companies have. It's like again the protocol that they use to do SEO or PPC or any kind of process. And it sounds to me like I mean you're in a leadership position already. Do you have people that report to you? Are you like responsible and in charge of a department of some kind?
Yep, I'm in charge of our content department. And although it's very small since we're in a small company, I just make sure that everything runs smoothly for the department that I have. We have like several different departments, and that's one of them.
That's fantastic. And how does it feel? Like, do you enjoy the job? What's it like to work remotely?
Oh yeah, I like it very much since they're Eastern time and I'm in Mountain Standard Time, they work from 9 to 5, but for me it's 6 to 2. So that's pretty good hours and I like that. I It's a pretty good just considering the fact that I do get off at 2 since it is a typical 9 to 5.
Well, that's fantastic. It sounds like it's a really good schedule that works for you. You like getting up early and you're done with your job by 2 p.m. You're making more money than you were before. You mentioned to me you didn't even go to college. We're going to talk more about that. So this is, obviously a very exciting development in your life to have this career. And of course, everybody wants to know, how did this happen? So like what was going on in your life when you first found my course and decided to take an interest in digital marketing?
Yeah, sure. So it first started out with me working at a retail store, and I was studying originally for UX design, but then that did not go as planned because it was highly competitive, and it's kind of hard to really prove that you have the skills in UX design, and I even couldn't land an internship. So then it was suggested to me your course. So I thought, oh well, I'll try digital marketing. It seems like it's pretty similar to UX design and it seems like that it would be something that I'd be interested in since I like to research and do those different things, and that would kind of apply in the same way. So I started your course, and I did it for about 3 months. I found the coaching calls that the course also offered by Nick and Ivy extremely helpful as well. If I had any pitfalls or any troubles, I was able to ask for any advice that I found really helpful during my projects. And even when I was starting to apply to jobs, I would ask for different suggestions as well. And so your course was really helpful. I went through it like 2 times, so that way I'd be really informed and knowledgeable about what all the different kind of aspects, since digital marketing is a very large field. So large kind of, career path to go into many different things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I remember you being very engaged, which is very, very important, guys. You can't you sign up for the course, you gotta apply yourself. You gotta really, it's self-motivated learning. So that's awesome. And then you decided to focus on SEO as opposed to PPC. And kind of what drew you to SEO over PPC?
Well, what drew me over to SEO was that I was getting practical experience through volunteerships and also apprenticeships. So I got to have a different taste of different things. one apprenticeship I was, well, volunteership, I was working with an non-NGO organization to help them with their PPC campaigns. And then another one was an apprenticeship in a way with a platform called Acadium, and you got to be partnered with a mentor. So they mostly wanted me to help with the SEO and the writing on their website. And so I found that I kind of enjoyed SEO a little bit more than PPC. I did still apply to both jobs, but I felt that I need to kind of narrow down a little bit with my resume about what I was aiming for, since a lot of times, sometimes with people, they don't really want a jack of all trades sometimes, and they want someone who's narrowed down to a specific field. So I finally decided to sell on SEO and mostly focus on applying to jobs that were SEO involved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens, guys, if you're wondering about the course. I mean, people, once again, most college people in college studying marketing do not even know what these terms mean, PPC or SEO. When you get into the course, I teach you PPC, SEO, email marketing, some meta ads, analytics, all these different things. And some people wonder, well, what do I choose? As you start to get your hands-on experience and it stops being theory, people, you just know. You just figure it out. Some people are just really drawn to paid ads, and some people are drawn to SEO, especially if you're into writing. So and as I teach in the course with the resume, you want to obviously tailor the resume to each job description, but you also want to set up your LinkedIn profile to indicate a specialization in one of these things. You can put both, like PPC and SEO, on your LinkedIn, but you want to have one be your primary, and that's what Grace did. So. Okay, so you went through the course, you generated some experience, you started applying, and then how did the application process go leading into this job?
Hmm. At first, it didn't go so well, only because I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I was very general and broad with a lot of my specialties, and I was still also working on my different volunteer experiences and apprenticeships. But then I started really getting some more interviews and more people once I did complete my apprenticeship experiences, and I had something to back up what I was saying. I got a couple of references from people, which really helped me as well. So people knew that I wasn't just, breathing hot air or anything. That I was kind of trying to make my abilities more than it was. So if I had some kind of people to help support and back up what I was doing. And then after that, I was also tailoring my resume. I think what really helped me a lot also was building a kind of portfolio in a way beside my resume. So my portfolio included my timeline or my progression on my projects and what I did, and people would be able to cross-reference and see what I did as well. So I felt that helped a lot in being able to get the job and for people to start paying attention, employers to start asking for interviews.
Yeah, and so you did the portfolio website like I teach you in the course?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just having that web presence makes a big difference, guys. Every little thing you do from the course makes you stand out. Again, most people are coming out of college or high school, mostly college, and I'm telling you, guys, it's crazy. I graduated college 22 years ago or something like that. And back then it was the same thing. There's like you spend 4 years studying nonsense, and then they have one little like workshop. Do like a resume workshop, and in an hour they'll be like, oh, by the way, here's how you do a resume. And that's all the training these guys
Yeah.
get. So, it's a skill set in and of itself. And it sounds like you were getting really good results starting to get interviews. So talk about, how did the interviews go? And then how did, obviously the interview that led to the job, how did all that go?
The interviews went pretty well. I actually got pretty close for a couple of them to get a job. I was like the final candidate between another person, but I think that since the other person just had a little bit more experience, then they chose the other person. But I was getting closer and closer. And then for my final job, it was around November, so a week before Thanksgiving, I believe. And then I had the interview with my current boss, and then he gave me an activity to do to show my skills, which was blog writing, since I originally started out as a content writer and applied to a content writer role. Well, its official title was SEO content writer. And then once I did the activity, then he said he would let me know on Monday that if I would get the job or not. But then on Sunday, he let me know that, hey, you got the job and we want you to start immediately on Monday. So they made their decision from there.
That's awesome. How did that feel?
Felt really surprising because it was an email maybe around 6 p.m. on Sunday, so I was not expecting it so soon. I was just like, oh no, did I get it yet? I hope I got it. And then sure enough, it was on Sunday. So it felt like it happened very fast.
Yeah, so you were surprised, but then after you were surprised, how did you feel?
I felt very happy because after all the months of applying to different jobs and trying to get a job in digital marketing, I finally got it. Felt very accomplished.
That's fantastic, and you should. So that was great. So now you've gotten hired and you're working remotely. And tell us, well, what was it like, working at this job, and what kind of work were you doing? Content SEO content writing is a very interesting topic, especially people always want to know about the impact of AI on these jobs. So just tell us a little bit about what you were doing on the job, and then after that, we'll talk a little bit about AI.
Sure. So on the job, for the content writing position, it was a little learning curve only because I've not worked remotely before. So I had to learn to use different communication platforms with my team so I can collaborate effectively. So I learned how to use Slack and I learned to use ClickUp. Slack is like almost like Discord except for professionals. And they also used it to help manage their clients so we'd be able to have an integrated process, being able to communicate with each other and our clients. And then also ClickUp, which is a CRM platform which you're able to have your tasks organized. So kind of like Trello, where you just have a calendar and your schedule and your assignments that you have, and then it helps keep track of who's doing what. And so I learned those two platforms on the job, and then for the content writing, I write all the blog posts organically, and AI does play a minimal role in blog writing, but we are able to make our blog infrastructures with AI. But since he wants to adhere to SEO friendly practices, we just write all of the content organically, except for social posts, though, where we just write the client's social media stuff with AI. But really, for the blogs, that's what I focused on, and that was what my task was as an SEO content writer. So finding keywords, doing keyword research, and then writing the blogs to aim for those kind of keywords.
That's really cool. And I just want to dig into that a little bit more because I know this is still on people's minds because especially what's in the news, everyone's like, oh, AI is going to take every job. People are panicking. Okay, so that was in November. Now it's 2025, middle of the year. Has the role of AI changed, or are you still writing everything organically? Do you use AI to get ideas? Do you use it for some kind of research, or are you using it to generate the draft of an article, or are you still just writing the articles from scratch by yourself organically, or are your writers doing that?
So for the blogs currently, we are still adhering to the same practice for the blogs of not really using AI too much, only to help with the draft. But we are using AI a little bit more now but not really to replace any jobs or anything. It's to help with our QA process with our blog, so we can just do it faster. So when we write the blog, we'll just put it our document since it has a Google Drive API connection with the ChatGPT API, which basically just connects the Google Drive that we have with ChatGPT, and then just upload our document into there so that way we can just have it assess it faster than us just reading the other person's blog manually.
Yeah, that's another great way. As I try to explain to people again, these tools make things more efficient and faster,
Hmm.
and they can't truly replace what you're doing. But that is true. I mean, AI can be amazing at proofreading or giving, feedback, especially if you prompt it properly. You have to give it the right prompt. That's the other thing. Like you have to tell the AI what to look for. If you just say, "Hey, here's a blog post. Is it good?" I mean, it may give you some good insights, but the person who's using the AI needs to know these things to give it the right instructions. But in your case, I mean, this is again a great example of how your company wants to stay competitive and they understand that having, as you said, organic content that's truly unique and human written is now actually, it's a unique selling proposition in a way because so many people are using AI. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah. And, you've gotten a promotion since then. So I think, again, this is a really great example of how, again, there's still jobs, opportunities, and growth. And AI is a
Mhm.
tool. And then just to kind of, complete this, so you started out as a content writer, and then tell us about your recent promotion and how that came about and all that.
Yeah. So I had worked from November to December, and then from there I got a from $18 to $20 and he said that I was doing a really amazing job and that he was really happy with my work. So I was like, that's great. And so then it was around March, um, I was going to leave the job in order to find a better position. I had actually had an internship waiting for me since it was before I had my job at this company, and it was for a company that was more well known, except that for that company, they had the summer internship. So I was debating whether or not if I wanted to get into the internship into this company, which seemed like it would have a better pay range as well. But then I ultimately was going to approach my boss and tell him, hey, there's this company and um, they're going to have me for this summer internship where there's a possibility or a 64% chance of being hired once it's over. And so then he said that what's the magic number and what can I do to make you stay? So I said that maybe benefits and a higher pay raise. And so then he um, approached me later and said that I could be salaried instead of hourly and have unlimited PTO as well as benefits. So I decided to stay only because other companies said that I had to work in certain locations in Arizona, and it wouldn't really fit the lifestyle I want to have, which is next year to be a digital nomad, since they only let you work within certain states in the United States as well. So it's also not just because of the money, but also the kind of life I want to live and the kind of things I want to do to a happy balance between both of them.
That's amazing. And you're demonstrating negotiating skills just very naturally. And by the way,
Yes.
guys, Grace is only 23 and she didn't go to college. We're gonna get to that in a minute. And I think it's very exciting. Yeah, you just very naturally negotiated. And again, this is what happens in this field because again, there's still a lack of skilled workers, a high demand and appreciation for the quality and the value of the work that your boss appreciates you, what you're doing for his company. And he,
Hmm.
again, for an entry level job, starting out at 18, $20 an hour while you get your experience, that's good. But you did a very natural thing. You found another opportunity and leveraged it on your first opportunity. And then the second opportunity, yeah, you saw the limitations. I mean, maybe working for a bigger company sounds impressive, but I think
Hmm.
right now, being a content director, even if it's a small company, that's a very prestigious title and you're in very much a leadership position. You're gonna be able to leverage that within 6 months to a better position or your boss is going to have
Hmm.
to, pay you more at that point. And then you also, of course, the lifestyle. I know that's a big thing these days, especially in your generation. You want that freedom and flexibility. So yeah, you can travel, you can work from anywhere you want, and that's worth more than, even a few dollars more in salary. But to be honest, in a few months or next year, you're going to be able to have both. You'll be able to have the flexibility and the salary. So that's really fantastic. So you're in a really great position. I did want to touch on this college thing for a minute, just because you did skip college for success, which is something I really advocate. What was it like when you were coming out of high school, and like, why didn't you go to college? Did you have pressure to go to college? What was that like?
Well, I've in fact have been homeschooled my whole life, so I guess high school would be it would be being finishing my homeschool education. But I really didn't want to go into college because I didn't really know what I wanted to study or what I wanted to go in. I know a lot of young people my age just go into college to just find something or just apply to a bunch of courses and they don't really know what they want to do. So they might go into liberal arts, they might go into business, but not know exactly what kind of branch or what kind of category of business they want to go into, or other kind of degrees that wouldn't really help them in the long run or for an actual job, and as well as not be armed with proper skills or proper education to do the jobs that the real world does require. And so I didn't really want to spend thousands of dollars going to college for something I wasn't even sure I wanted to do. So that's why I went into retail first to just get work experience and to know what the real world is like first. And I did a good job there. And I would have probably been a manager there if I didn't tell them I wasn't going to stay. So they shouldn't really think about advancing me. But it was a good experience and I met us good people and I learned how to work and how to be on a schedule. So I felt that was way more valuable than what college could teach me. So doing my retail job and then taking your course later on the side, I think it really helped me teach me some discipline.
Absolutely. Well, it's like you're so logical. It's great. And
Yeah.
it's interesting being homeschooled. I think honestly, these days with what's being taught in the public schools, being homeschooled is, I think, honestly, uh, a very, very smart path. So since it sounds like your family is a little less traditional, so I imagine your parents did not pressure you to go to college then?
Oh no, they didn't pressure me to go to college.
That's great. That's really great. And as you said, I mean, guys, you're listening. There's so many nonsense reasons that people go to college, and a lot of it's these platitudes that are sort of out there, like, oh, you go to college to learn discipline or to learn how to work. It's like, okay, first of all, you've been in school for 12 years and you didn't learn discipline. You're not going to learn more discipline by 4 more years of these nonsense classes. And also, that's a secondary benefit. It's like, why would you spend 20, $30,000 a year to learn discipline? You could go to the army or just yeah, get a job
Yeah.
like you did. You know, you learn more from getting a real job and actually showing up on time and having, responsibilities than you would
Mhm.
in college where so many times people, don't go to their classes or now in college people are using AI to write their term papers and there's not much real discipline or accountability and then people are in partying getting drunk every night so it's fun, but you're getting a mu much smarter head start on life by skipping. You got the discipline, you got the work experience. Now you have an in-demand skill. You have now you're managing your own schedule. You're remote. You have flex. It's just fantastic. So, um, for anybody watching who thinks that you have to go to college to be successful, it's just it's such it's this myth that I don't know how much longer it's going to hold up with student debt rising with people kids you don't have student loans that's the other thing just even if you just stayed at that retail job and you became a manager you'd be in a better financial position than anyone going to college because you have no debt you have no debt
Mhm. Yes.
so anyway, I'll stop my sermon about college and just yeah, just congratulate you, let you know I'm very proud of you. I think, this is very inspiring what you've done and where you're headed. Um, it's really great. Um, and I wanted to thank you for sharing your story with everybody here. Can people reach out to you on LinkedIn if they have any questions?
Yeah, sure. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Cool. I will put, my students are very generous with their time and their availability. I'll put her link below. Remember, she's working full time now, so just be patient, as with all my students, and respectful if you reach out to them. And yeah, it was great chatting with you. Before we wrap up, I just want to ask, is there anything you want to say to me or anybody watching this interview who might be thinking about the course?
Yeah. So I guess last words are the course is really helpful, and I would definitely recommend taking the course if you want to learn some real skills that will get you to where you need to go in digital marketing. And IVN-Nix courses, not sorry, IVN-Nix things that they have each week, the meetings they have each week are also really helpful, and that you should tune into those as well. They can offer a lot of insight and advice, and you'll get to meet the other students and see how they're doing and help encourage each other.
Awesome. Yeah, she's talking about the coaching calls we have. Again, Nick
Mhm.
is my PPC coach. He manages $2 million a month at a huge agency, and Ivy has been working for very big corporations in SEO. And they're available every week to you guys. You won't get that in any college program, really. So,
Yep.
uh, so yeah, thanks for pointing that out. And guys, yeah, if you're wondering, if you're watching the interview, you don't know anything about me or my course, check out the other testimonials on the YouTube channel. Click the link below the video to check out my free webinar, how to get a $60,000 a year career in 1 year with no previous experience or education. Grace is a great example of that. She's 6 months in at 47, and she'll be at 60 within a year, no question. And it's really possible, again, which you get skills that employers actually need versus what you're being taught in school. So check that out. Grace, it was great chatting with you. Thanks again for sharing your story, and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.